last night, and Steven Strasburg took advantage in a series opening win. Today, right back at it with an early start for Doug Fister. Nats, Rangers, Game 2 begins now. Quick turnaround after a wonderful ball game for the Nats last night. They got the offense going. They're going for 2 in a row, and they've got Doug Fister on the mound today. So how does this one size up? Well, she's a little shorter than that 6'8" pitcher, but that's okay. And by the way, put down the bat, Matt Williams. Your guys scored 9 runs on 15 hits last night. At FP, they put 3 crooked numbers on the board. It was up and down the lineup, which was very refreshing.
And it was the second time around. And when you're playing interleague play, the first time around the order, it's kind of a feeling out process. You haven't faced a guy before, but last night, second time through the order, they clicked. The top of the order was 8 for 15, 5 runs scored. Overall, they were 15 for 38, 395 average last night. So the top of the order did their thing. They got it done. But when you talk about the thump, the middle of the order, Adam LaRoche, Wilson Ramos, and then Ian Desmond with his 10th home run of the year. That was the key blow. Put them up by 1, 3-2. And, you know, they had the here we go again mentality going last night because they fell down by 2 runs. Ian Desmond got him on top. And then Nate McLouth, who's been as hot as anybody, contributed with a couple of knocks last night. And Tyler Moore off the bench, his first pinch hit of the year, his first 2 RBIs as a pinch hitter. So the bottom of the order getting it done. It was just a total team effort.
So the Nats in the last 2 games, 14 runs, 15 hits in each, batting .370. All of a sudden, you just hope that with the weather warming up, you can say the same for the offense. Doug Fister, rough outing in Oakland 3 weeks ago, first time out. Since then, really good, what we expected and what we hoped for.
Yeah, great tempo. He's been throwing strikes, commanding the strike zone with all of his pitches, and I think that was the key last time at Pittsburgh. Lasted just 5 1/3, but did a great job of pounding the strike zone, not just throwing strikes, throwing quality strikes to a corner.
And our starters know if they get deep enough into the game, there's a great chance they're going to win. Drew Storen, Tyler Clippard, Rafael Soriano. You can throw Aaron Barrett in there too. Barrett, Storen, and Soriano ERAs under a run. Clippard at 1.48. When these guys are good, they're very, very good. And when they're bad, well, we haven't found that out yet. So how about today as well? need to argue about during today's game. Rangers and the Nats. Texas hitting .267, second to Detroit. And we want you to visit trainsearch.com. Find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. 76 at the ballpark. We'll set the lineup for you in a moment because, as you know, Doug Fister is ready to roll. Right on time at 12:05, strike one.
He's actually on the mound at 10 o'clock this morning, ready to go. You see the arsenal of Doug Fister. Fastball averaging 88, slider 84, curve 73, and the changeup 80 miles an hour. And shocking that he's to an 0-2 count already. He's been pounding the strike zone consistently. Last start against Pittsburgh, got the 5-2 win, went 5 1/3, gave up 6 hits and just 1 run. A solo shot to Josh Harrison, but like we said, he commanded the strike zone with all 3 pitches.
On 0-2, he jams Shin-Soo Choo. And he's over there. Adam LaRoche has no really choice other than to throw the ball to him. Not about to let LaRoche do it unassisted. Rougned Odor, he's in the number 8 spot. Young second baseman, youngest player in the big leagues, 15 for 54 in 18 games. Rangers are 7th in the American League in runs, 2nd from the bottom in home runs. Only Kansas City has hit fewer. And they're a pretty good running ball club when they're successful, but they get caught stealing a lot. So that was Choo's 29th at bat against Fister. This is Elvis Andrus' 29th at bat against Fister. Choo 9 hits, Andrus 6 in those ABs, and 16-year veteran Laz Diaz has the plate. Crew chief at second base, Jeff Nelson. Fister against the Rangers, 9 career starts, 3-4 with a high ERA of 5.67. But he has beaten them 3 times. That's on the corner, 2-1.
Last time out against the Pirates, he did a nice job with that 2-seam fastball away to righties and running it back late for a strike. It's a changeup right there. So even though he's behind the count, commanding the changeup, throwing a 2-1 changeup for a strike.
And a chopper foul. If you missed it last night, Atlanta held on in the 9th to beat Miami, so the Nats are a game and a half behind the Marlins and 2.5 back of the Braves.
That's set to Nationals defense behind Doug Fister. McLeod Span Worth your outfield. Desmond Rendon left side. Espinosa LaRoche right side. And Jose Lobaton behind the plate.
Just a little bit away. Doug Fister career 46 and 51. 132nd career start. And by the way, in his starts this year, 4 of them, he has walked 1 batter and struck out 17. So in his career, the wins, the ERA, 6 complete games, 1 of those is shutout, and a 3-2 to Andrus, and a 1-hopper, Anthony Rendon. Fister's forte is keeping the ball down, getting ground balls, and he'll face Mitch Moreland now with 2 outs in the first.
Well, as an infielder, you love working behind a guy like Doug Fister because A, he works quick, B, you know you're going to get some action. I mean, there's nothing worse than playing behind a guy that works slow and doesn't get you a ground ball till about the 7th inning. So Nats in their Saturday Reds today, infield will be on their toes. They're looking forward to some action.
Here's Mitch Moreland, 2 for 15 career against Fister. Rangers are in the 10th game of an 11-game trip. They've gone 6-3 so far, and they're hitting .314 on this trip. Their .283 road batting average, the best in Major League Baseball. It's just interesting to watch Fister throw the fastball. 89-90 sure seems to play a whole lot harder than that. You've talked about his size and how close he appears to be to the hitter when he finally lets it go. Then he takes a little bit off with a perfect 80 on the changeup.
By just throwing downhill because he's so tall. Maybe he's creating an angle because of his height. He stays down the zone. You really can't sit on a pitch when you're facing Doug Fister because you just don't know what's coming ever. I mean,
now Moreland getting time.
He'll throw off speed when he's behind. He'll throw fastballs late in the count, try to front hip the left-handers. Great athlete, feels his position well, and he can hit.
And a 1-2 to Moreland. Didn't miss by much.
He tried to go with the two-seamer in, and it didn't miss by much.
And that one well inside. Count goes full. One of the best road warriors in baseball on deck here in the top of the first. Some in, some out. One low in the zone. And that is serious jammage right there. We've got a Honda do-up for you. Top of the order was red hot last night. Span, Rendon, and Worth. They were all over the place last evening. Span 3 hits. Rendon a 2-hit night. Jason Worth with an RBI had 3 hits. And they are ready to roll against Nick Tepesch facing him for the first time. Masson, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Gorgeous day at the ballpark. Clear skies, 76 degrees. Nats are 7th in the league in hitting, 9th in runs, and some guys are heating up. Adam LaRoche, 5 of 18, with 3 RBIs in 4 games since coming off the DL. Span is hot. Desmond's been carrying the ball club with LaRoche on the DL. Nate McLouth is hot, and Jason Worth is heating things up. So here's Span, 7 of his last 10 games with 2 hits or more, including 3 last night. And this is Nick Tepesch. Nats see him for the first time.
Yeah, the fastball's 89, slider 84, curve 77, changeup 84. Move the fastball around. As a real sweeping slider, that's kind of been his best pitch this year. It's something he's worked on. And last time out against Minnesota, he earned the 7-2 win. Gave up just 7 hits and 2 runs over 6 2/3.
From the Kansas City area, Blue Springs High School there, went to the University of Missouri, where he was a college teammate of an infamous almost Nat, Aaron Crow. 2-1 pitch, and Span swings through it. 5 years ago, the Nats drafted Aaron Crow with their very first pick. Never did sign him, and he ended up with the Kansas City Royals. And Span now hitting .269, .360 over his last 10 games.
That did a nice job last night after singling in the 5th inning. He went on a 3-2 pitch to steal second base. Anthony Rendon put it in play. He kept going to third. Mitch Moreland threw across, threw the ball away, and he scored. So we talked about the energy last night for Denard Span. He's looking to do the same thing here today.
2-2 again. Had a good take.
I thought it was interesting last night how Ian Desmond said they're just trying to have a little more fun playing the game of baseball. You get into these ruts as a player where it becomes work. You're checking in, checking out. And it is their livelihood, but he was saying last night after the game that they're just going to try to have some more fun and enjoy the game. You know how you do that? Win. Get hits.
Yeah, what comes first, the joy or the wins?
Hey, baseball's no fun when you're losing and not getting any hits. Trust me.
Well, last night was a fun night at the ballpark, a 9-2 win. A laugher, old-timers would call it. Got to play the last 3-4 innings without much pressure. And then Denard Span with a very good at-bat. Fouls a couple off and draws a leadoff walk.
So the defense for the Rangers today. Chu Martin Rios, the outfield. Andres Beltre left side. Odor Moreland right side. And Robinson Chirinos behind the plate.
Well, Anthony Rendon hit the ball well a couple of times last night. Once he was robbed of a hit, and one time when he blooped one, it fell in. He went 2 for 5. Span 7 for 7. The Nationals up to number 11 in the league in stolen bases. They were in the bottom 2 for about a month and a half. But the one thing they've done when they've gone, they've been successful. 26 of 30. A lot of hitting room right side. Rendon's a good right field hitter. So 92%, 11 of 12 since May 12th. And the Rangers have stolen 39, but they've been caught 23 times. Brought to you by Jeep as we go inside the running games.
Well, the Rangers are young, and as a young player, you learn at the highest level when to go, when not to go. You know, when you have a good jump, what counts are good to go on. Peeking in, getting signs, all of it. And Nick Tepesh obsessed with Denard Span right now. Hey, look at the veteran guys. Span 7 for 7. Worth 3 for 3. Nate McLeod 4 for 4. The guys that have been around, they know when to go, when not to go.
Outside. Beltre even with a bag at third. Andrews, Odor, double play, slots up the middle. And Rendon pulls it. It is just foul. Just enough hook to get to the left of the line.
Anthony Rendon with a couple of hits last night and a couple of hard outs. So the bat is coming back for Rendon. And look at this one, just missing foul. You can just tell by the bat speed. We always say A to B as quick as anybody in baseball. Quick hands, lets it get deep. Good example right there. It's a good count to run on if you're Span.
Rangers starters this year, 4.41 ERA. The overall stat 4.28, 12th in the American League. And Span with a pretty good lead. Couple of shuffle steps and he stops. 2-1.
Boy, when you look at Tepesh's numbers in his velocity card, fastball 89, changeup 84, slider 84. I mean, he's all right there in the 80s, so it's not like he's going to throttle you fast and slow. He's got to work the ball around to be successful. And he is really controlling the running game right now, I guess is a good way to say.
Span's picked off, keeps on going, and it's going to be 1-3-6.
Well, all the throwovers from Tepesh finally worked. He got Denard Span leaning, held it. Span got antsy, took off, and kept going. I think that's the right thing to do. If you get picked off, keep going. There's no percentage of getting in a rundown. You very rarely get out of those, and maybe you beat the relay.
Back to the windup for Tepesh on a 2-1. And Rendon off the end of the bat. Right field line. Long way to go for Rios. And he can't reach the foul ball.
Barely fouled on the left field line. Barely fouled down the right field. Now you hit one up the middle.
Kind of like what Span did in that 1AB last night. Fouled off a handful of pitches, then finally singled right through the middle. Nats start the day hitting just 249. But a 3-point bump with all the base hits last night. +8 on the run differential for the year. Rangers are 5 back of Oakland. They beat the Angels at home last night. That ball is jacked. It might go. It is into the bullpen. Anthony Rendon puts the Nats on top with his 6th of the year.
There goes the no-hitter. Ian Desmond taking the helmet off. First base dugout fired up, and that's how this one starts. Look at the quick swing from Anthony Rendon. Look how deep he lets this ball get, and like a snake. And this ball got out in a hurry.
That thing had another gear. Now Worth gets under it. Over to the left side in foul ground for Beltre, battling the sun. And that ball might have hit his glove an instant before he thought it was going to. 2 outs.
Let's check out the home run one more time. I mean, we talk about the quick swing, but look at the hands in the zone, bat trailing. Good extension right there by Rendon. So he kind of did it right. Left center field. Foul ball down the left field line. Foul ball down the right field line. And a home run into the bullpen. And Kevin Franzen, a little love for his teammate, Anthony Rendon.
Isn't that nice? Here's LaRoche. So for Rendon, his 6th RBI, number 27. Nats 49th homer of the year. This year, Tepesh has had a problem with number 3 and 4 hitters. He did retire Worth on 1 pitch. But guys in those power spots, 7 for 16 against him this year. Everybody else, 8 for 53. LaRoche, 5 of 18 since coming off the DL, and that's up and in. 1-1. Well hit right center. Nothing any shift can do about that. And 3 of the 4 Nats hitters have reached base. Well, taking 2 weeks off didn't bother that guy, did it? Adam LaRoche is swinging beautifully.
And they got the shift on, and you see a location mistake. That was supposed to be down the way, right down the middle, and good hitters don't miss that. You see the shift. Just gonna dump it right over the top and give myself a knock. Nicely done.
As soon as Adam LaRoche's at bats catch up after missing 2 weeks, he'll be in the top 10 in the league in batting average and on base percentage. Here's Ian Desmond. Quite a 3-run bomb here last night. Breaking ball to the outside edge. First National to reach double-digit home runs. He has 32 RBIs to lead the squad. On base, 27 of his last 30 games.
Well, Carp, you're talking about LaRoche being in the top 10 in batting. How about talking about him as the Nats representative in Minneapolis in July? He's never been on an all-star team. He's 34 years old. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been the mainstay of this offense all season, and why not?
Easily the most consistent hitter on the team.
I mean, you can't take the whole bullpen, so why not the first baseman?
And a lot of people feel Adam LaRoche should have won more than one Gold Glove to this point. Did that 2 years ago, won the Silver Slugger.
His daughter was here yesterday, and I asked her, I said, do you remember what your dad looks like? Because he's had that beard for so long. She looked at me like I was crazy.
I tell you who knows what he looks like is Tony Tarasco. They've been together a lot at first base this year.
I forget what Adam LaRoche looks like.
3-2 to Desmond. LaRoche still coming back from that quad. Gets a head start here with 2 outs. He's on the move and a big sweeper. Strikes out Ian Desmond. After Span got picked off, Rendon striking a low line drive into the bullpen. It's about 370 where that ball left the yard. The Nats by 1. On top after 1, Doug Fister back to work. Every time the Nats hit a homer, $250 to the Children's National Medical Center. And that's thanks to our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. Fister first inning, 17 pitches, 11 strikes. And he faces Adrian Beltre, who's had 20 career at-bats against him and 8 hits.
Las Diaz has a very hitter-friendly strike zone so far in this game.
Beltre, 7 for 17 over 4 games. And I mentioned the Road Warrior thing, batting .340 away from Arlington this year. Only Victor Martinez and Nelson Cruz, a former Ranger, have higher batting averages on the road, and that is one big power zone. Very vertical. That's a fair ball. Rendon, look at the pick and the throw.
Are you kidding me?
It's the Rendon show here in the first 2 innings.
I mean, he got an in-between hop. I thought there's no way this is going in his glove, so he goes backhand. Nasty hop, spin move, hose across the infield. Watch this play. It's as good as it gets. Wow. That ball shot, it had topspin. And as he's going to the backhand, gives with it. And look at the arm. Come on, does it get any better than that? Look at Doug Fister's reaction. It's the Anthony Rendon show.
Here's Alex Rios. And Adam LaRoche, I think, had to move his glove maybe 2 inches to catch that throw.
Look at him give on the top spin. So that ball actually picked up speed when it hit. I mean, you just don't see that. Being able to adjust to a bad hop when you're going to a slide toward the line.
Well, somebody was ready to play a noon game after a night game last night, and he's over there at third base.
Well, he probably didn't go home. He loves baseball so much. Probably slept in the clubhouse and was ready to go at 7 this morning.
It's a nasty thing to do to a team from your home state. Anthony, one of those outstanding players out of Rice in Houston. Alex Rios, 4th in the American League with 69 hits. He's in the top 6, batting .319. Pfister started. Did he knock his own cap off and then he had to abort?
See him do that before.
Quick pitched himself on that one. And that is on the outside half. Rios doesn't like it. And that's 5 in a row for Pfister to start the game. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
I think it's change-up right here from Pfister. 79 miles an hour. Brought it back just like his two-seam fastball. Rios didn't like the call. Las Diaz did. Well, I think even Adrian Beltre could appreciate that play that Anthony Rendon just made on him.
Yeah, he's robbed his share of hundreds of hitters over the years. That's ball 1 to the 29-year-old catcher Robinson Chirinos. Previous big league time in 11 with Tampa Bay. Last year with the Rangers. Just 28 at-bats. 102 at-bats with 23 hits this year. And their disabled list is amazing. Catchers on there, Giovanni Soto, right knee cartilage. Prince Fielder, a whole bunch of pitchers. Kevin Kuzminoff, who was hitting the ball really well for the Rangers for a couple of weeks, also on the DL. Derek Holland, one of their aces, left knee. Almost an endless list of injuries for the Rangers this year. Pfister keeps pumping strikes and the count's 2-2.
That list brought to you by Kaiser.
And they're still listing Yu Darvish as the starter tomorrow against Tanner Roark in the finale of this series.
I was told he's fine. Took PFPs after he scratched from a start with a sore neck the next day. He's ready to go.
Right in there. 80 on the changeup. And you would call that an overpowering changeup. Pfister is featuring right now. Rendon's helped him get the lead and possibly keep the lead.
Doesn't matter if you're a Rangers fan, Nationals fan, baseball fan, whoever, it doesn't get any better than this. And it's because of the hop at the end and how he extends his arm up to give with a nasty topspin hop. Watch him go to the line. There's the nasty topspin hop. He gives with it. And then flat-footed across the infield, throws a dart right on the money. Look, check out the Exmo. Look at that. He knows the hop is going to go up high. He gives with it, then gets up quick the other way. This is the part, he doesn't have any momentum going toward the play. I mean, I've seen guys go to the backhand, maybe a guy like Ken Caminiti going to foul territory like that, but they stand up with their back to the play. He spun the other way and still got that much on the throw. I don't know what's more impressive, the glove part or the arm.
Here's Nate McLouth, who over his last 10 games has really come alive. 10 hits, walks, hit by pitch, stolen bases. Batting .435 over that time with an on-base percentage that's ridiculous at .552.
Boy, he just
and did the bat get Chirinos there?
Yeah, got him good. I mean, hit him direct hit on the backswing. Chirinos almost went down, and Las Diaz had to hold him up. Watch this. Nate McLouth on the backswing gets him right in the helmet, hard, and then Las Diaz has to hold him up.
Wow. You'd see that plastic or that material just really bending and waffling as the bat made contact on the helmet of Chirinos. That fiberglass. There's the mark where it got him. Now it's 0-2 on McLouth. Espinosa, Lobaton to follow. Nate McLouth had a long battle to get his batting average over 100. And now he's a hit away from getting over 200 in his 93rd at bat here. Target away. Tepish didn't miss by much.
Well, the good part is Nate McLouth's getting locked in. The bad part is Ryan Zimmerman's playing left field today in his rehab assignment.
In Potomac, huh?
You just wonder how many at-bats Nate McLouth has left in left field, but it's nice to see him do what he can do, and that we all knew what he could do.
He'll pull that ball. It's fair. Down to Mitch Moreland and to Tepish. 3-1 for the first out. Danny Espinosa coming in, struggling a bit, 0 for 16. Dan Kolko has more.
Bob, the Nets had 15 hits last night and pushed across 9 runs, but the at-bats that most impressed Matt Williams last night belonged to Danny Espinosa, who went just 0 for 3 with a walk. Espinosa spent the last handful of days trying to adjust his mechanics and stride straight ahead so he doesn't close himself off with his swing. The Nats had an off day on Thursday, but Espinosa was here at the park putting in extra work with hitting coach Rick Shue, and while he didn't have any hits yesterday, he stung 2 hard ground balls and stayed on a pitch and flied out to center, and I asked him afterwards how he felt. He said he felt good. He wasn't fighting himself with his swing, so positive steps, even though the results might not show it in the box score.
Well, you see how much more open he is in his stance. I mean, he's wide open right now, and that's something new for him. So he's starting open, and what Dan's talking about is if you stride toward the plate, you block yourself off. And it's really all you can do is come around the baseball, so you see his open stance.
And that ball hit well to left center. There's a result for this one. It's off the wall in the deepest part of left center. Danny Espinosa going the other way. And a one-out double here in the second.
And if you do block yourself off, meaning you stride toward the plate, you can't go that way like that. I mean, your swing gets long and you can't get direct to the baseball, but you see the small leg kick, the stride right back toward Nick Tepish, and the results speak for themselves. It was just a matter of, was this ball getting out of here? Great swing by Espinosa. Right now, Tepish up with everything.
Yeah, there's a breeze coming in from left field now, and that maybe kept that one in the yard. Flags moving now. They weren't 40 minutes or so ago as we got on the air. So here's Jose Lobaton. At bats, not too frequent lately, but he has a homer, 8 RBIs. NFP noted on the stat sheet this morning, 227 overall, left-handed and right-handed.
He's hitting 227, 227, and 227.
Well, let's make it about 233 with a hit right here.
I don't think I've ever seen that on a stat sheet before, where a switch hitter's average is the same from the right and the left, especially with so few at-bats.
Jose has picked good spots for his hits this year. You'll have to say that for him. $20 hits, 8 runs batted in. Infield to pull. Outfield, center fielder toward the right center gap, Martin, who has the best arm out there in case there's a base hit. And that's a fastball just outside, 3-1. Nissan will track this one.
Well, Nissan likes a low pitch, and I'm sure it has it as a strike, but Las Diaz has had a very tight zone so far. Like I said, very hitter friendly.
Doug Fister, good hitting pitcher on deck. And the 83 gets the count full. Las Diaz very vocal with 3-2 counts today. We had a 5-pitch walk here, a 5-ball walk here last night.
We did. Wilson Ramos had ball 5.
And by the way, you know, you track certain things on the internet during the ball games. A site that I use tracks pitches and strikes. After that walk, it was down the rest of the night. Lobaton to the scoreboard. It is over the board. Home run, 3-0 Washington. His second of the year. It just got over the green strip at the top of the scoreboard.
How about that? Well, he took a whirl at it, 3-1 missed, and took the same swing. He and Desmond taking his helmet off, 3-2, and it goes out of here for a 2-1 blast. Right down the middle. And Lobaton all over it. And just gets out of here. And Tepesh can't believe it. Second home run he's given up so far today.
Doug Fister takes ball 1. 5 of the first 8 Washington hitters have been on base or rounding the bases.
Offense is cool. Bryce Harper coming out.
It's cool because it likes warm weather. Let's just hope this thing continues for a while. It's been a bit of a drought.
I'm sticking with my theory that Ryan Zimmerman's presence in his rehab assignment has affected this lineup.
Well, he's only playing left field 30 miles from here on this Saturday. Fister into left center. Ball tailing back to Chu. And another at bat for Denard Span.
All right, everybody go vote for Adam LaRoche right now. The 85th MLB All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 15th at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Vote early, vote often, vote for LaRoche, and be sure to vote for other Nationals, too. Place your votes now at nationals.com/vote. I'm just starting the LaRoche campaign. It's going to get ugly. Trust me.
I think we should call it Viva LaRoche.
I'm calling it Nats Dynasty. He's got the beard.
Here's Span, walk to lead off the game. I'm sure it doesn't happen as often as it seems, but you just knew after Span got picked off, Rendon would get a hit. Well, in this case, it left the yard. And now Lobaton's left the yard. And Washington leads 3-0. Span had been perfect on the bases this year.
Well, we jinxed him. I jinxed him. I'll wear that one. I said he's perfect 7 for 7. It's on me, Denard. My bad.
He's been able to keep at bats alive lately by spraying foul balls all over the yard. Target away. Gets a good piece of that one. That is not where Chirinos wanted that. Tepesh missed his spot on the inner half, and Denard Span's on for the second time. And now Span and Rendon both have hits in the same game.
Mike Maddox going to come out and talk to his pitcher. What's that stat when they both get hits in the same game?
I think the Nats are, what, 15-4 now?
120-0, I think, is the stat. 16-4 is counting last night. It was 15-4 going into last night, right?
Have to add another one.
Yeah, 16-4. And they both have a hit, so this one's over. I'm going home.
Five hits by the Nationals so far.
What is the record when Span has a walk and a single and Rendon has a homer?
I'm sure there's a specialized stat for that to be dug up somewhere.
Some of my analytic friends will find it.
Rendon, low laser to the bullpen, left center, first time. So Anthony in this series now 3 for 6. And the hits have been consecutive. And a ball skipping. Chirinos with a block. Counts even 1-1.
Check out the first inning tater off the bat of Anthony Rendon. Just a swing back fastball. Look where it got, right in his power zone. Right in the eye of the hurricane where all the lightning's striking, and he went deep for the 6th time this year.
7 all of last year in a very good rookie campaign when he hit 265. So you're watching a first-round pick, number 6 player taken overall just 3 years ago out of Rice. And at the age of 23 and a birthday 6 days away, developing some real pop. Outside 2-1.
A lot of people criticized Mike Rizzo when he picked Anthony Rendon. He had a bad wing at the time. His power numbers were down from the year before. So what are you doing drafting a hurt guy? Well, how's that looking right now? I remember when we had him up here in the booth his first day at Nats Park. We had him on the air. We were impressed.
Yeah, great personality. You can tell a great clubhouse presence. And seems to really enjoy himself when he's out there between the lines.
Just a baseball player in every sense of the word.
But we've seen a whole nother dimension of his defense this year with Zimmerman hurt. And Rendon back at his natural position, third base.
He might be at third base for a while.
And Ryan Zimmerman's the kind of guy, he will do whatever is best for the ball club. The ultimate team guy. 2-2, and Rendon stays alive.
Well, if Zimmerman does play left field, he's going to love it out there. He's going to fall in love with playing the outfield because it takes a lot off your shoulders. You don't have a whole lot to worry about, and you can just think about your swing and rake.
For the achiever in you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report. Cypress, California College, originally drafted by the Yankees. Oh, it's Ryan Zimmerman, sorry. So that's what he did last night at Potomac, and tonight, 30 miles from here, we'll start in left field. Beltre deflects, everybody's safe.
It's a base hit.
And 4 hits in the inning now.
Well, you got to figure if Adrian Beltre doesn't get it, it's a hit. He's going to his left, just ticks off his glove. Andrus has it. It would have been interesting to see Andrus' arm across the infield, but you see Beltre reaching far for that ball, extended himself, and just can't make the play.
Worth fouled out to third, first time up.
But as a hitter, when you're facing a guy that all of his pitches are right in the same speed range, it's not the hardest at-bat you'll have all year. Meaning, you know, last night, Blake Treinen was throwing 98. His slider was 83. You know, you're talking about 15 miles an hour difference between two pitches. That's tough for a hitter. But right now with Nick Tepesch, everything's right. 84, 86, 88. It's all right there. So he's banking on movement. He's banking on keeping the ball down, in and out. And if you're not shaving corners and all your pitches are right in the same speed range, it's a very comfortable at bat. Doesn't guarantee a success, but as a hitter, it's a very relaxing feeling in that batter's box, knowing that you don't have to cover 10-mile-an-hour difference in pitches.
And a fastball misses. So Worth's been able to stay alive with a couple of breaking balls away. Well hit to left. Span off to the races will score. Ball gets away from Chu. Here comes Rendon. Bob Henley sending him. He is safe. And Worth will end up at third base.
It didn't matter if he was safe or out. He was blocking the plate.
The Nats lead 5-0.
He would have been safe even if he was out, if that makes any sense. Robinson Chirinos was blocking the plate before Anthony Rendon got there, and you can't do that. Ron Washington argue the call, but I don't think Wash knows that his catcher was blocking home. He didn't give Anthony Rendon a lane. And you see the route by Shin-Soo Choo, bobbles it, and that allows Bob Henley to score the trail runner. And watch him, he's already blocking the plate right there.
RBI double for Worth. Error on Chu and left, allowing Rendon to score.
Can't block the plate before the throw gets there.
Not anymore.
And even though the throw kind of took him that way, you see him not really giving Rendon a lane. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. He was safe either way.
Here's LaRoche. And Nick Tepesch is sitting on 55 pitches, getting 5 outs in this game. LaRoche base hit right center first time up.
They give Worth a double in error or a single and a two-base error?
I thought I was told double in error.
That ball was shot out of a cannon.
A single would make more sense because a 2-out double, he'd probably get 2 RBIs. But Chu did boot it.
Did you say Chu booted it?
I did.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a double. Two and one on Adam LaRoche. Rangers have their bullpen working early. They had a good road trip coming into this series, 6-2. Nats hammered them last night, and it's 5-0 today. Span, Rendon, and Worth, by the way, 5 out of 6 in terms of getting on base. 4 hits and a walk. And LaRoche will take ball 3.
Well, Jason Worth is walking down the third base line so far right now because Adrian Beltre is in a shift. And even though Tepesch is out of the stretch, Worth is really creeping down the third base line.
He could take a 60-foot leadoff, and it would just be a race back to the bag between him and the pitcher.
He could almost, well, not with 2 strikes, 2 outs, steal home out of the stretch.
Ball 3. 4 now.
Still got you messed up from last night.
Now the Nats will have their 9th man, Desmond, coming in. Now let's go back to last night with Wilson Ramos. 3-2 count. As we highlight the count. Ball 4. And Scott Berry held up the fingers that said 3-2. And there's ball 5. Ramos finally got to go to first.
It's a tough league. I mean, it's hard to get on base in the big leagues. You got to get 5 balls to get on.
That was leading off the 6th inning.
I feel like a 5-ball walk should be a hit.
Desmond left side. Beltre picks it. and prevents the Nats from scoring another run. The big blow of the inning, Jose Lobaton with his second home run of the year. That widened the Nats lead out to 3-0, and they would add 2 more.
Weekend. When the Nats win, everyone wins. All season long, when the Nats win and score 7 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu prices at papajohns.com by entering promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals.
Doug Fister, 5-run cushion. Martin Odor, and at least scheduled is Nick Tepesch here in the top of the 3rd. Rangers could be pinch hitting for their starter, who's already thrown 62 pitches.
The changeup from Fister has been the pitch so far today.
I mean, he can throw that thing for a strike today anytime he wants.
He's got the parachute working.
Leonis Martin, 26-year-old outfielder from Cuba, hit .260 for the Rangers with 49 RBIs in 147 games last year. 0 for 4 last night, and a high fly ball to right for Jason Worth. That would be 7 in a row to start the game for Doug Fister.
This Thursday, June 5th, the Nats take on the Phillies. 4:05 start, and the Plain White Tees kick off the Nats Live free post-game concert series. That's presented by the Travel Channel. Post-game concert series is free with your June 5th game ticket. Don't miss your chance to witness the Grammy Award nominee group known for the platinum hits. Hey There, Delilah, and Rhythm of Love.
Rougned Odor, young Rangers second baseman. Hit the ball hard twice last night. RBI single to right. Line drive to left. And Doug Fister is a strike-throwing machine here. In the first 3 innings, Mercedes-Benz will track.
And it doesn't matter what pitch it is either. Curveball, slider, changeup, all in the zone. Same thing he did last time out against the Pirates.
Might be a little unusual to quote his interleague numbers because now he's pitching opposite of what he did against the National League. 6-3 with a 2.04 ERA in interleague games while with Seattle or Detroit. Knocked around by the A's out in Oakland 3 weeks ago on his return from the DL. He's been outstanding since. He gets the high fastball called for a strike. Strikeout number 3, and they've all been looking.
Third strikeout in a row, too. Might have been up. Look at the stance right there. He's in a crouch. Letter high fastball, and when you're pounding the strike zone with all of your pitches, you have a tendency to get the borderline calls, and that's exactly what happened to Pfister right there. Last Diaz in a rhythm with Pfister. He's working fast. He's throwing strikes, and Diaz is calling strikes.
Pinch hitter is Nick Martinez. Tepesh is done after 2 innings. First big league at bat. Just activated today. In there, 1-1.
You kind of always root for guys in their first big league at bat. I know I do. It takes you back to your own. And I guarantee you he's some kind of nervous right now.
And a bouncing ball to the right side for Danny Espinosa. Well, Martinez didn't do any worse than 8 teammates. 9 in a row to start the game for Pfister.
Jose Lobaton 2-run tater. Doug Pfister doing his thing, pound the strike zone, and Anthony Rendon with his 6th home run of the year. And it's been the Tony Rendoni show. First the home run. He goes big fly to left center field. A line drive on a ball down in the zone. And he gets a little love from his teammate. And then how about this? Adrian Beltre, 4-time Gold Glove winner, hits one to Anthony Rendon, who may win one someday down there with that play. Wow. So Cox delivering life's most important connections. And Anthony Rendon connected with the lumber and the leather.
For the Rangers, 32-year-old Scott Baker takes over. 3 ball games so far, 15 hits, 10 runs in 17 innings. Rangers signed him as a minor league free agent March 28th. He was with the Cubs for just 3 starts last year. Previous big league time, a Denard Span teammate, 07 through 2011 with Minnesota.
A fastball 88, slider 80, changeup 82. 3-pitch guy.
Nate McLeod bounced out to first to begin the 2nd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You see how McLeod just doesn't even move his leg on an inside pitch. He was hoping that one hit him.
And McLeod, that one heading near the scoreboard, and Rios back to grab it. Suddenly up and down the lineup, guys swinging the bats well.
All right, fans, tweet your photo right now using hashtag #MASSINFANPHOTOS for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. We'll show one today, and it'll be awesome.
Espinosa, Lobaton, the next 2. In our opening segment today, we talked about the top, the middle, and the bottom of the order last night. Well, the bottom has checked in big time with the Espinosa double and the Lobaton home run.
I just like the open stance right now that Danny's featuring. It allows you to see the ball better. When you talk to guys that have an open stance, you're more square to the pitcher and look at both eyes looking at him. Felipe Alou always used to say, turn your head to the pitcher like you're playing catch with them. A lot of times you'll see hitters kind of peeking out of one eye and they're not really seeing with the eye that's closest to the catcher. That was his #1 thing that he would tell hitters. Look straight at the pitcher so you see him with both eyes.
Worked for him.
Did.
What a great hitter he was.
Played hard, too.
Well, Danny Espinosa's batting average was getting down near 200. He was under 100 from the left side. So that was a big extra base hit for him going the other way. Now a count of 1-2. Look out, Coach John Philbin. That's strength and conditioning coach.
That wasn't an ugly finder.
Slight flinch.
Definitely not an ugly finder.
And a 1-2 to Espinosa. And Danny, who doesn't always make a lot of contact with 2 strikes, suddenly turning into another kind of hitter, staying alive. So Nissan shows most of this AB middle in. One pitch was fouled off to the outside edge. That one slowed down his bat at 85. Jose Lobaton, 11th major league homer last time up.
3-2 pitch right down the middle, and he knew what to do with it. Caught it out front, and you're just wondering, is it sitting off the wall or is it getting out? And it barely gets out of here over the scoreboard in right center. Hit speed 92 miles an hour.
That's right about 370 where that ball went out. Elevation 15 feet to get over that scoreboard. Well, we talked about Lobaton this year, how he's made his hits count. The Nats backup catcher now has 21 hits and 10 runs batted in.
Well, he never gets cheated. He's up there swinging from his heels, especially left-handed, every single time.
Hit just under 250 with the Rays last year in 100 games. The one in green did not come back.
My power zone would be smaller than a pitch.
Yeah, but your contact zone would be huge.
maybe non-existent. Maybe purple.
Baker, former Oklahoma State Big 12 hurler. Anna 2-1 to Lobaton. Out of play to the left side. Everybody stepping up and doing quality work in the batter's box now. Extending counts. They made Nick Tepesch those 62 pitches while getting just 6 outs. Fastball in there, inning over. Nats go 1-2-3 for the first time. Doug Fister back to work against Chu, Andrews, and Moreland. Beautiful day in D.C. It's our DynCorp International Troop Recognition. And it's brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. Brilliant, beautiful day in D.C. Top of the 4th coming up. Nats on top 5-0. Freight Railworks with what the Rangers have due up here. And in this series, Mitch Moreland, the only man with a base hit. That was an 8th inning single last night in a 9-2 game. So at least to this point, the Nats have put the stop to the top of the Ranger batting order. Chu pulled the ball to LaRoche starting off the game.
For a guy that gets on base a lot like Chu does, he swings at the first pitch a ton.
He'll strike out some too. 46 Ks on the year. Just for comparison, that's 26 times more than Denard Span. 1 ball, 1 strike. And he has a lively bat. He's hit 6 home runs.
But you see the way Fister's moving it around, makes him aware of the inner half. So Chu, a pull swing right there, and he goes back to the sinker away. In, out, any pitch, any count.
Made a little bit of an offer there, but he held up, says Scott Berry. Chu was one of those outfielders who was 20-20 last year. 21 home runs with the Reds, 20 stolen bases. And then he was hit by 26 pitches, which led the league. Breeze kicking up a bit. Fastball inside. Chu's been hit by 8 pitches this year.
He's had confidence in that changeup at any count today. See if he goes with it. 3-2.
Got him on the hands. LaRoche scooping. Perfect feed. Leading Fister right to the bag. 10 straight.
Did you see Doug Fister throw that ball around? It was a 3-2 changeup. He got Chu to roll over. He covers first base. Perfect feed from LaRoche, and then he takes it and whips it to Danny Espinosa as soon as he catches it, like he's turning a double play. We love Doug Fister. He is ready to play every fifth day. Turn it. Nice.
Here's Elvis Andrus, who bounced out to Rendon first time. I mean, the changeup, it's almost an automatic strike today.
Well, as Diaz is hearing it from the Rangers dugout, they thought it was low. And now he's calling it a ball? He called that a strike. He's changing the count to 2-0 right now.
I have never seen an umpire do that.
He called it a strike, and then he turned to the dugout and said, no, I missed it. I'm calling it a ball. And we got to go back to the pitch. He gave the strike sign. Never seen that in my life. Watch this. He calls it a strike. 1-0 pitch. There's the strike sign. It was kind of a half-hearted strike sign. Huh.
Well, we think the count's 2-1, and that's ball 3. Well, last night, 5 balls for a walk. Maybe today, 4 strikes for a strikeout. We'll see. Rendon can't quite get that one. McLeod over to cover it. Runner going to second. Andrus in there.
Well, the first hit of the game right there. 14th double of the season for Andrus. And I was thinking, and I don't know if you were, because Doug Fister has that kind of stuff today. Interesting that Rendon was playing that shallow in a 2-1 count. Maybe he got messed up on the count as well. I don't know. It's a hitter's count. Not very likely Andrus is going to bunt. But that ball was hit hard, and there's a first knock for the Rangers, or did they give it a knock? Yeah, there it is.
They just did. Here's Mitch Moreland.
So after 3 1/3, Doug Fister finally in the stretch. And pitchers will tell you, when they get in a rhythm out of the windup and they haven't been in a stretch for 3 innings, it's a little bit of an adjustment. Got to find those mechanics now as well.
One ball, 1 strike. And Moreland with a foul. Bounce back to the pitcher first time up. Eighth game in the history of the Nationals versus the Rangers. And the all-time series stands at 4-3. Rangers took 2 out of 3 in Arlington back in 05. They did it here in 08. And the Nats got one last night. And we have a flashback a little bit later to a crazy game between these 2 ball clubs in June of 08. It might be fun for you at the end of that to hear what the Nationals starting lineup was that night. Swing and a miss off speed, and Doug Fister bounces back to strike out Moreland. That'll be his 4th K of the game. He'll face Beltre with 2 outs.
Well, now Doug Fister pulling out the curveball, so it's pretty much been 2-seam fastball, changeup, occasional slider. And I brings out the big 12-6 bendy, and Mitch Moreland way out in front.
Beltre robbed on a brilliant play by Rendon on the third base line. way behind the bag first time up. Beltre 3 hits last night, a double, 2 singles. Career .271 hitter. He's at an even 300 right here. High in the air, left field line, hooking, and well foul.
Well, Rendon's play on Beltre is the best defensive play in the infield I've seen live this year in person. I don't know if there's any more highlight reel plays out there that are better, but that play he made on Beltre in the second inning, the best I've seen in person by far.
Lobaton jumped inside right at the last instant before that pitch, and Beltre was checking his trademark to make sure he didn't break that bat.
Andrus's play last night and Rendon up the middle was pretty good too.
That was really good, yeah. Fister slowing things down now with a man on base.
I think Nate McLeod's play going up against the wall is the best outfield play I've seen live this year, where he risked life and limb. And if they keep stepping out, I'll keep trying to think of plays.
Well, the Nats had a couple against them in Pittsburgh last week. Josh Harrison on Ramos. No balls, 2 strikes to Beltre.
Oh yeah, Billy Hamilton's play in center field to save the game.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Brandon Phillips' play up the middle to save the game.
Folks, I mean, given analysts a lot of idle time. This is what happens.
You remember that one play?
Roger Bernardine in Houston a couple years ago.
I remember that. Yeah.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Beltre reaching out left field. Coming in hard and making the catch, Nate McLeod.
Good communication.
Well, Doug Fister, he lost his no-no right after Las Diaz said, no strike. All 5 deciding to get out of the gate today. Early lead, Teddy. Doesn't bode well. Tall Tom Jefferson. Here comes Abe. And they're dancing in the streets at Monticello. I bet she's watched a lot of races and she can name all of those presidents.
How cute is she?
And the Nats on top 5-0. Dad says, I'll take it from here. Doug Fister, bottom of the fourth, first pitch up and away from Scott Baker, who came on in the third and pitched a 1-2-3 inning.
Doug Fister's due.
0 for 7. He's the only starter without a hit this year. Jordan Zimmerman has 6. Tanner Roark pitches tomorrow. He has 3. Gio has 2.
Well, he missed a month.
And that ball is on the ground.
And there's his first hit.
I don't know if Elvis Andrus ever saw that ball. Martin knew he was in trouble, kept coming, and the ball drops. So maybe Fister hitless no more. It is a base hit.
There it is. He's on the board. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Doug Fister popping a ball up right behind shortstop, and the Sun Monster gets Elvis Andrus. And I think if he saw it, he might have turned around where he was facing the infield, but I don't think he ever saw this ball. Look at the sun in his sunglasses. No idea where that is. And
Leonos Martin making a cameo at the end of that replay. Not real sure about where that one was himself. Yeah, this time of the year,
when it's sunny,
about 1:30 local time, the sun is directly overhead from behind home plate. Span, a walk, a base hit, and a run. And this one heading down the line. Rios outrunning the ball. Grabs it with a one-hander.
Great play. Well, you talk about a long strider covering some ground. Nice play by Alex Rios right here, and a ball well hit off the bat of Denard Span. Look how much ground he covers. All the way to the wall, puts the brakes on. Nice play. No sun involved in that one.
No, Nats are swinging the bats really well. Big time breeze now coming in from left. Anthony Rendon 2 for 2. Solo homer in the first. Base hit, run scored in the second. He has hits in 4 consecutive at bats. Way inside. 1-1.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, I look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And that ball scorched out to left center. That's on the ground in front of Chu. And Anthony Rendon has 5 hits in a row.
Stay hot. Here he comes again, folks. Torrid April. Fell off a little in May, and now the swing is back for Anthony Rendon. Home run his first at bat, single last time up, and another knock. He's 3 for 3.
That ball was in the air for a while, and Chu decided at the last moment not to challenge it. And here comes Worth with 2 on, 1 out. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI double. In there from Baker. Right on the inside of that power zone. Took a double to left for an RBI last time up. That was a ball that Chu dropped, allowing Rendon to follow Span home. And that one out to short. Fumbled by Andrews, and because of that, they lose the double play. It'll be a 6-4 force out. 2 outs.
Well, the Rangers' defense in this series has been less than stellar, let's put it that way. I mean, they had just committed 3 errors in the first 8 games of this road trip. They committed 3 last night. This isn't an error right here, but it could have very easily been a double play. They only have 1 error today, but they have a few miscues on top of that.
So here's LaRoche given a 2-out chance to drive in another run or more. Base hit to right center, a walk. Nat seen Baker for the first time. And swinging the bats pretty well after that 1-2-3 last inning. That is just outside the bag. Moreland was holding Worth and Clint Fagan right there.
Tony Tarasco having a chat with him too, and that's how you tell first base coach. Not reviewable, folks, if you're wondering, and it was clearly foul. At least from that angle.
Yep. Shift on, 1-1 pitch, upstairs. Beltre halfway between second and third.
He's going to cruise over even more right now. He was standing over there to guard against the LaRoche push butt. We've seen Adam do that before. And now he's going to go over all the way to shortstop.
Counts even, 2-2. Runners at the corners, 2 down. That's on top by 5. And LaRoche hits one deep to right. Up against the wall. It's another Washington home run. 8-0 Nationals.
What a difference a few days makes. Oh my gosh. 2 days ago, a punch to the gut loss. Down 4-0. They tied it at 4. Ended up losing in extra innings. And then last night, tons of offense. And today, the same. 7th home run of the year for LaRoche. And he knew it as soon as he got it. Classic swing. One-hand finish. Backspin carry. Tater.
Adam LaRoche, 7th of the year, 224th career. And the Nats have hit 51 home runs, 3 today. Here's Desmond, who hit a 3-run shot last night. And the ballpark, big crowd still buzzing about what they just saw. 8-0 on 10 hits.
The last 9 innings, the Nats have 17 runs. A lot of talk about hitting with runners in scoring position this year. Right now, if you're in the batter's box, you're in scoring position.
And Desmond will take one well outside, 3-1. Ron Washington got through a 9-2 game last night using only 2 pitchers. That may not be the case in this one. Now Desmond walks. He's aboard for the first time today. Next up, Nate McLeod, who hit it hard last time. Mike Maddox, another visit to the mound.
Boy, if the Nats turn this thing around and start hitting consistently, obviously getting Ryan Zimmerman back and hoping to get Bryce Harper on the right there back around the All-Star break, you might look at Ian Desmond's 3-run home run last night, circle that as the turning point for the offense.
Yeah.
Because last night had that feel of here you go again, down 2-0. Steven Strasburg made an error, led to some runs, and all of a sudden one swing, Ian Desmond gives him the lead, and like I just said, 17 runs in the last 9 innings.
Nats facing a right-handed starter today for the 17th time in the last 18 games. They've been pretty good against lefties this year, but you just don't see that many. And they are hammering away against right-handed pitching today. McLeod pulls the ball for the 3rd time. Ground ball Odor. 4th inning over. Doug Fister got it all started with a bloop hit. If that ball's caught, LaRoche never bats in the inning. And it's all Nationals. Adam LaRoche, 7th of the year. RBI total up to 27. The sweet swinging lefty. Viva LaRoche.
Natitude enjoying an 8-0 lead as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Take home a piece of the game with the Nationals Authentics. Game used Digi Camo jerseys and hats for the Memorial Day game will be available for auction. See the full selection of items at bid now at nationals.com/auction. The auction ends June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
You have until tomorrow night. Here's Alex Rios, called out on strikes first time. 5th inning. Some of these Rangers just now getting their 2nd ABs of the day. 65 pitches, 40 strikes for Fister. First 4 innings. And a chopper foul that Doug tried to catch on a fly. We have marveled at how he bounces off the mound and will head for either dugout on fly balls that are 15 rows up.
In the upper deck. He's like a lab going after a tennis ball. He sees it, he wants to get it. He's a gamer.
Good pitch count. And a count of 1-2 to Alex Rios, who's having a really good year. Not a lot of homers, though. 3. Prince Fielder, at the time of his injury, had only hit 3. Their leading home run hitter is Shin-Soo Choo, their leadoff man with 6. Kind of knew they'd miss Nelson Cruz in this lineup.
They were 5th in the American League in home runs last year with 176. Right now the Rangers are on pace, and I know this will get better as the weather warms up and they get a couple guys back, but right now they're on a pace for about 105 or 10 home runs this year. That's crazy.
Well, it's impossible in their ballpark. Ball flies to right center there as well, even more so than here. It's a hitter's park. That number's definitely going to change.
That's outside, and a leadoff walk. Only the second walk in 28 innings by Doug Fister this year. Yu Darvish tomorrow and Tanner Roark for the Nats. Monday's an off day. Then the Phillies are in for 3. Jordan Zimmerman, David Buchanan Tuesday. Steven Strasburg, A.J. Burnett Wednesday. Doug Fister 4 o'clock game. Kyle Kendrick on Thursday. All the big guys staying on their regular turns. And then we're heading to San Diego, San Fran, and St. Louis on the next road trip.
We have to go to San Diego, really?
Gonna make you. It'll be a little strange going back to San Francisco for the second time in a month.
I know.
Nats stayed there when they played Oakland, as most of the teams, or all of them, do now.
That San Diego trip, though, is the best in baseball. I mean, you go out there and it's like, okay, can we play 7 games? 10?
Can we play some of next year's games here on this trip?
You're on the plane leaving there and just, do we have to go?
That's not even counting SeaWorld. 0-2 to Chirinos, who was called out on strikes first time. And a ball high in the air, right center. Worth, span. Denard's got it with a backhand grab up against the scoreboard.
There is some serious carry to right center field today. I didn't think that ball was going that far, and neither did Denard Span or Jason Worth. They kind of drifted with it as the ball kept traveling, and watch Denard Span. He's got the right of way for sure to Jason Worth. Center fielder has priority, and watch. Even though Jason Worth's taller, Span calls it up on the fence, and if it's in the park, he's going to catch it. Hashtag Spanning.
I got it 3 times right at the end, he said. Doug Fister's got to love the defense being played behind him today, but it's no coincidence. As we've talked about so often, as quickly as he works, as many strikes as he throws, guys are on the balls of their feet, not the heels. Martin fly to McLaughlin left. First time up.
I mean, if you're wondering why, maybe you're new to baseball. When a guy works fast, you don't have time for your thoughts to wander. You don't have time to worry about your last at-bat or dig your last at-bat or think about where you're going to dinner tonight. There's a lot of downtime in baseball. So when you have a guy that's stepping off and throwing balls, you have a tendency to not focus, quite frankly. And when a guy's working fast, throwing strikes, you're on your toes, and you're waiting for the ball to be hit to you. And every major league will tell you, yeah, ball's coming to me, ball's coming to me. But when you have all that downtime between pitches, you can lose focus. Not the case ever behind Doug Fister.
1-2 to Martin. Jammed. LaRoche knocks it down. There's a pitcher at first, and Fister's there to make the play. Fantastic job of getting over and then using that frame to stretch for a throw.
Yeah, LaRoche put a little mustard on that feed right there. Doug Fister, I guess you could say, smothered it as he was covering the base. Ball hit hard. LaRoche gets the in-between hop, knocks it down, knows he has some time, but watch the feed. Fister stretching, and I thought there was a bobble there. But Ron Washington not arguing. This will show it. No, he's just trying to get his feet out of the way of the runner. Nicely done. And once again, Adam LaRoche doesn't know how to panic.
Yeah, Fister was getting that ball from his glove into his bare hand. You know what he was thinking? If Rios rounds second, I might turn and throw over there. He is so aware of everything going on defensively. Ball 1 to Rougned Odor. Up and away, 2-0. But Fister is a case study in how to come up and field your position and at times be that fifth infielder.
Well, he's a first baseman at Fresno State. So he's an infielder in college. He's a good athlete.
They must have had an incentive program for caught foul balls there.
Well, if you threw one over his head, you probably didn't belong in Division I college baseball.
2-1 now to Odor. Pitcher spot on deck, and the last time Ron Washington used one of his starters, Nick Martinez, to pinch hit in the third inning. And this ball in the air to right. A ways to go. Espinosa and Worth. Danny Espinosa can't make the connection. Got a piece of it. And the Rangers are on the board.
Well, the Nats have had a few fall for them today, and now the Rangers finally get one. They get on the board. Long way to go for Espinosa. Long way to go for Worth. And how many hits have we seen drop in this little Bermuda Triangle area this year? Fooled on the curveball, just gets enough of it. Espinosa, long way, tries to make the over the shoulder. It hit his glove, but might have saw Jason Worth peripherally right there, and the ball drops. Would have been a great play.
Scott Baker, the pitcher, will stay in and bat here in an 8-1 ball game. Right in there from Pfister, who's only given up 2 hits today. Little time in the National League with the Cubs last year. So he made 3 starts, had a few ABs. Baker was a 15-game winner for the Twins in 09. Won 12 games the year after that. That's a curveball that just was up a little too high to drop back in. What does the Mercedes-Benz pitch track think?
Might have been inside too.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That's it for this inning. Rangers get a leadoff walk, which is rare for Pfister to give up. And a blue pit, they get on the board. Espinosa, Lobaton, Pfister straight ahead.
Up second for the Nats this half inning. Lobaton's appeared in just 3 games since May 15th, and unlike many of the Nats bench players, he doesn't really get a chance to pinch hit too often because he's the backup catcher, and he's held back just in case Wilson Ramos suffers an injury in the middle of a game. So how does Lobaton try and keep his timing at the plate when he's not getting many at-bats? He has coaches and batting practice pitchers move the screen closer to him in the cage and throw harder. That allows him to kind of simulate the feel of facing a 90-plus mile-an-hour fastball and try and get that timing as it would if he was getting regular in-game at-bats. His timing looked pretty good in the second inning, guys, when he turned on that pitch and crushed it for his 2nd home run of the year.
Yes, sir. Danny caught it out front, pulled it, 11th Major League home run right there.
Well, that's good stuff, Dan. And good points about not being able to pinch hit when you're the backup catcher. How do you stay ready? Accelerated BP. Get close, throw it hard, simulate 90 miles an hour. Because as a player, if you don't play for 3 or 4 days, 85 can look like 95. And 95, well, you really have none chance against it. So how do you stay ready? You stand in and watch some bullpens. You have coaches fire at close range. That's good stuff. Way to go, Dan.
Mass and Dan with our FCA Sideline Report, brought to you by the Association for Global Security Professionals, FCA. By the way, the Nats, having scored in the first 2 innings today, had scored in 7 consecutive innings for the first time in the history of this ball club. Expos had done it back in 03, but they scored in the last 5 innings last night, the first 2 today. Then they went on a 1-inning drought before scoring again last time around with the LaRoche home run. So they have scored in 8 of their last 9 innings. That is crazy. Here's a 1-2 to Espinosa. Swinging a foul tip right into the mid of Chirinos.
Bring your group gathering to Nationals Park this year. Group seats are great for company outings, family reunions, and more special events. Tickets start just $9 for a group of 25 or more. So bring 24 of your best friends. Come out to the yard and get a great discount. I mean, that doesn't talk about the bus you'll have to get, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah. There's always the Metro.
Yeah.
Try getting 24 people on once the doors open before they close. That could be a lot of fun in itself. You better go about 3 different doors.
I see red people, and I don't know what that is so much right there. Tweety birds?
Wow. Third inning of work for Scott Baker, taking one for the squad here. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits last inning after a 1-2-3 third. He just had a big league at bat, and he's back out there working to Lobaton.
It's a good take. Looked like a strike for a long ways.
In the air and out of play to the left side.
Join the conversation. Check out Mass and Nationals on Facebook and join our game chat to interact with fellow Nats fans about tonight's game. Log on to www.facebook.com/MassandNationals and scroll down to tonight's game chat or to today's game chat. Get it started. They're deep into it right now on Facebook, talking about offense is cool.
A little later today, 3 o'clock, Mets at Philly. Jacob deGrom and Kyle Kendrick. And then tonight, later, 4:10, not tonight, but a little later afternoon, Atlanta at Miami. Irvin Santana, Jacob Turner. Nats a game and a half back of the Marlins, 2.5 back of the Braves. Just trying to take care of their own business here. Put some wins together in the middle of this homestand and try to have some momentum before they go on that long trip next week. There's the division right now. Yu Darvish and Tanner Roark tomorrow. 1:35 first pitch. Day off Monday, then the Phillies for 3. Lobaton battling well. Another foul tip into the mitt of Chirinos. 2 outs. There's Doug Fister. He's had a busy day.
Well, he's got some strikeouts today, and it's been with a changeup. You know, first time around the order was pretty much fastball change. There's been a few slider curveball strikeouts in there, the front hit fastball. But like I said, pick a pitch, any pitch, he's thrown it for a strike, and he's been throwing it for strike 3.
And every time a Nat strikes out an opposing hitter, $37 to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, thanks to our D.C. area Toyota dealers. So Fister's on the board with a base hit this year. He's 1 for 8.
Pretty good hack right there, too.
As a big league hitter, he is a respectable 5 for 23 with 5 sacrifice bunts. That's the last time that bat will be in a ball game. And a 1-2-3 for Scott Baker. Rangers at the top of their order, ahead in the 6th. It's all Nats, 8-1. Rock and roll highlights with the Nats offense, getting it done for the last couple of games. Doug Fister, 88 pitches, 56 strikes, 6th inning of work. Shin Soo Choo has pulled the ball to Adam LaRoche twice. He's 0 for 2. Rangers had a double by Andrews in the 4th, their first hit. Leadoff walk, Rios in the 5th. Came home on the Odor 2-out bloop. That's it. Choo will drive it to the gap in left center. A two-hopper at the base of the bullpen fence. Rangers have had a hit in each of the last 3 innings.
Well, you could just tell Choo on second base, his ankle is killing him. Didn't really look good running in there, and then he got there and started stretching out, bending over, and he's been playing with a bad wheel.
That's a leadoff man with 17 extra base hits this year. He can drive it when he's swinging well. That'll bring in Elvis Andrews, who doubled right through Anthony Rendon last time up.
Remember the 6th inning last time out for Fister at PNC against the Pirates. He hit the wall quick, cruising along, lasted 5 1/3. So this is a big inning for him.
Going to work on 0-2 and dropping one into the dirt. Pitch count getting up there. He had a 23-pitch 5th inning after that leadoff walk. That's on the paint on the outside edge. And Andrews becomes his 6th strikeout victim.
You always hear people talking about guys throwing pitches in whatever count, using all their pitches, throw them at any time. That's trusting your stuff. I don't believe it's trusting your stuff. I believe it's the ultimate confidence for a pitcher and belief in his ability out there to throw any pitch in any count, and that's what Doug Fister's done here today. Trusting your stuff is one thing, but having confidence in your ability is another, and that's what Doug Fister's showing me here today. Any pitch, any time, 4 strike.
Yeah, that's a backdoor breaking ball. Starting the left-hander, Mitch Moreland, who has grounded out and struck out. Then he goes heater, and that 87 plays harder than that. (8-1) Nats, top of the 6th inning. Moreland with Beltre on deck. And a ball hit well to right. That's over Worth's head. That'll slam up against the scoreboard, easily scoring Chu, and Worth plays it well to make it a long single. 8-2 now. This is a good hitting Texas team. 285 on the road this year, best in Major League Baseball. This game far from over.
I see the curveball staying up just a little long for Fister. Maybe he wanted to bounce it right there. Moreland does a nice job of digging it out, hitting it off the wall, and Jason Worth does a really nice job of keeping Moreland to just a single. See Chu kind of just hobbling home right there. He's not feeling good.
Here's Adrian Beltre, 0 for 2. Strike on the inside corner.
Might have got away with one right there to Beltre. Little slider, didn't do a whole lot. Pitch number 100 coming. 81, little slider right down the middle, and Beltre had a big whack at it.
And the 0-2 goes with the high fastball up and away. Nats at times have been pounding Beltre right in on the trademark of his bat. Now, Craig Stammen told me today he was throwing on the side last night. No expectations of coming into that game when Blake Trinan finished up. And we agreed that it was good that some of the bullpen guys needed to throw on the side. They're pretty fresh. Nats got through that whole game with 2 pitchers last night. Strasburg, well, Storen 1 inning and then Trinan 2 innings, so 3 guys. And the way Drew's throwing, that was kind of like a side session for him. He's been so good. 1-2 to Beltre. But even when Doug had retired the first 9 batters of the ballgame, it was still taking him 15 pitches per inning to do that. Beltre gets under one and fouls it out of play to left field side.
All right, we promised you earlier in the game we have an AT&T fan photo, and there they are, the Adams family. Good-looking group.
Nothing creepy or kooky about them.
No, they're awesome. I want that ice cream cone in the end.
Long look by Fister. 1 on, 1 out, a 1-2 to Beltre. Desmond coming forward, shovels to Espinosa. He's got the gun to turn the 6-4-3.
You're not supposed to turn that double play. They do this all the time. You see the speed of the ball, the speed of the runner, and you're thinking there's no way they're going to turn a double play, and they do it again.
Well, Doug Fister makes a living on ground balls. 1 swing, 2 outs, inning over.
plays, on double plays that probably shouldn't be turned. Look at the speed of this ball. Beltre getting out of the box quick. With the arm of Danny Espinosa, the quick hands of Danny Espinosa. I mean, these two guys believe they can turn every ground ball that's hit to them into a double play, regardless of the speed, regardless of the runner, and you've seen it a million times. And look at Espinosa right there with this strong arm. The strong shortstop arm at second base. What a turn.
Nats turn their 49th of the year. Top of the order, Span, Rendon, and Worth. And another inning of work for Scott Baker, who right now is in the process of saving the Texas bullpen. He's had 1-2-3 innings with a 3-run fourth in between. Span flew out deep on a good grab by Rios in front of the bullpen against this right-hander, first time. As Craig Stammen continues to throw, looks like Fister's done for the day after 109 pitches and 6 solid innings. Span, well hit. Martin thought he was going to have to come in for it, then had to retreat a few steps. And Denard Span, 1 for 3. He's hit the ball well 3 times in a row. So the Nats box score looking nice and full today. Desmond with a walk, McLouth's hitless, but everybody else, some having big days, have contributed. Especially Rendon, especially LaRoche, and Jose Lobaton. Here's Rendon, 3 for 3. And he drives one to the gap in right center, and that would be 6 hits in a row for Anthony Rendon. Homer to left center, single to left, another one, and this one to right center.
Game's not that easy.
He's back.
Today, Anthony Rendon is making it look simple. On offense, on defense, look at no stride right there, just firing the hands of the baseball, playing a little pepper. And you're wondering if that was going to get in the gap for a double. Jason Worth looks like he's going to have the rest of the day off.
Scott Hairston with an AB here.
Get one of your horses off his feet for a few innings. Good call.
And Hairston gets a rather rare opportunity to hit against a right-hander. He's been great since coming back from the DL. On the year, 8 for 19 with 3 RBIs. And he's 7 for 17 since May 5th, when he came off the disabled list with that oblique. And he jacks one down the left field line. This is going to be close. It is a home run. Hairston goes deep, and it's 10-2. So, who says he can only hit left-handers?
Well, how about the bench lately for the Nats? The first home run of the year for Scott Hairston, coming off the bench, giving Jason Worth a little rest, and he goes deep to make this a 10-2 game. Watch the short, compact swing. Tough to get in on Scott Hairston with that swing. And it was interesting as I watched Hairston in this home run unfold. He sat there watching for a little bit to make sure. He watched it all the way down the first baseline. And he actually lost track of where first base was and almost collided with Clint Fagan as he touched first.
First time since a 6-5 win at Arizona Monday, May 12th. The Nats have hit 4 homers. There's a fly ball to left from LaRoche, and that's handled by Chu for the second out. But that day, Moore hit a solo. Desmond did hit a 2-run homer, and there were solos by Espinosa and Kevin Franzen when the Nats came from behind to win with 2 home runs in the ninth. But today, it's been bombs away with men on base.
Watch him pull his hands in right here to get to the sinker that's chasing him. That's such a short swing. And then because he stayed inside of it, there wasn't a lot of hook to the baseball. It's a great shot of it coming down the line. If you get around that baseball, it's going to hook foul. He kept his hands inside, nice barrel to the baseball, and shot out of the yard. It's been a tater festival here today for the Nats.
For the Nationals, their 4th pinch hit homer of the year. Zach Walters has a couple. The other one owned by Kevin Franzen, and now Hairston. Desmond 0 for 2 with a walk today. 10 runs on 12 hits. Desmond gets a fastball and straight back it goes. Inside the numbers from Jeep. Maybe on their way to a third consecutive day of at least 15 hits. It's never happened. Expos or Nats. Pitch upstairs. Inning over. Well, last night was Desmond's night. Today, a whole bunch of his teammates. The latest to check in, Mr. Hairston. Day to just go find the playground. Let your hair blow in the wind, whatever there is of it. And that is a smile that might summarize this day better than anything we've seen all day, and maybe even yesterday. The offense is cooking. Let's just hope this goes on for a while.
I mean, home runs, driving in runs, runners in scoring position, doing it all. Doug Fister doing his thing, getting his team right back in the dugout after they score. Some shutdown innings, but it's definitely fun to talk about some hitting for a change.
Well, and then the pitching side, not to be ignored. Strasburg really good last night. Some early adversity, overcame that. And then, of course, Fister today. Tanner Roark's turn tomorrow. And with all these days off, you can kind of keep those four guys in all their regular turns right now.
I mean, slowly but surely, Doug Fister is asserting himself as the ace of this staff.
Well, veteran guys showing the way. Craig Stammen on for the 7th here. Scott Hairston goes to left field. That puts Nate McLaughlin right. A couple of shifts on the infield as well. Ian Desmond will get off of his feet. We'll set second and short for you in a moment. Well, there's Danny Espinosa. And then Kevin Franzen at second base. So time to give the regulars, as they call them, some time off. And we might even see Tyler Moore for Adam LaRoche before the day gets much older.
Well, I have one hope for the rest of this game, and that's that Danny Espinosa gets a backhand play deep at shortstop, because I want to see the arm.
Great slider by Stammen, buries that thing, strikes out Alex Rios. Dan Kolko, we consider him a frontliner, but he's got some subs news. Go ahead, buddy.
Guys, going into the Pittsburgh series, the last road trip, Matt Williams had planned to give both Ian Desmond and Jason Worth a day off. But when your team's struggling and you're losing a lot of games, you need those guys in your lineup, especially when the offense isn't clicking. So those plans get adjusted. Now, luckily, Matt said he talked to a lot of his veteran guys, and they've said, I'm good, I'm healthy, play me. We need to win these games. But these are the type of plans that, as a manager, can go awry sometimes. You want to give a guy a day off, but you need to adjust to what's happening on the field. So Desmond and Worth played all 4 of those games, and now they're getting a chance to rest a little bit with the Nats up on top big.
Well, Matt Williams was joking the other day, can we win the first 2 games of a series one time so I can let some guys get in there and give some guys a day off?
That's about to happen. Franzen, by the way, batting 9th on the double switch. Pitcher spot is where Desmond was in the number 5 hole.
And Williams' theory, a lot like his old manager Dusty Baker, on throwing the bench guys in, that they're all big leaguers. And Dusty used to tell us that in San Francisco. You win the first 2 games of a series, and Sunday he would throw all the bench guys in there, and we would win a lot of games. And sometimes the media would ask Dusty, well, why'd you put all the goon squad in there on Sunday? And Dusty's answer would always be, they're all big leaguers, and we won.
1-2 pitch. And Chirino's trying to reach to stay alive here. Top of the 7th, 10-2 Nats. Out hitting the Rangers 12-4. I bet you when the Rangers looked at this road trip, they did pretty well in Minnesota after doing really well in Detroit. They figured, well, we're about to face the team on this road trip that's done the least hitting of the 3. And now the Nats have done nothing but mash since Texas got into town. Only one under the National League game in progress. The Giants underway at St. Louis. And boy, how good have they been? They've won 4 straight, and they're 17 over 500. Here comes Rendon. Ho-hum. Another good play by the Nats infield. Anthony Rendon is doing it all today.
Not just doing it all, making it look easy, making hard plays look easy on defense, making it look easy at the plate. But watch this, just very effortless, cruise across, and the arm strength is just off the charts from whatever angle he throws it at. He can go the backhand, throw it over the top. He can come underneath and throw it hard, and he's always accurate.
Base is empty, 2 outs. Leonis Martin. And now Stammen, the latest to come in, pumping strikes. Ball hit hard beyond the reach of Adam LaRoche and deep into the corner. Martin has very good speed. He's looking at his third base coach. Spike Owen told him to hold up with 2 outs.
And Spike Owen, former Expos shortstop. So some more Expos flavor here at the ballpark this weekend.
Yeah, subbing for Gary Pettis.
Yeah, just too hot to handle.
Number 8 hitter, Rougned Odor. And the pitcher's spot, and the Rangers are warming up Sean Tollison in left field.
There's Spike Owen.
He's just one of those guys who would grind it out and fight you every day. Good fundamental ball player.
And my first big league camp was an Expo. He kind of took me under his wing. Great guy.
Stammen had Odor fooled, strike 1.
He had his own Louisville Slugger model, 061, and I used to use it, the O for Owen. I'm not sure what the 61 was for.
Oh, 1. Stammen gets a pitch up in the zone. And he's on the attack with 84 down in the zone. A scoreless inning by a Nats reliever. What a novel idea. It keeps happening over and over. We've arrived at the Hyundai 7th inning stretch, 1.7 miles to the north, the capital of our nation, and a beautiful day for baseball. How about that scoreboard here in D.C.?
Arlington and Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria, 10-2 Nationals, and it's been a tater fest here at the ballpark today. Warm day, ball carried, and we're going to show you all 4 home runs. First, Anthony Rendon. He got the party started in the first inning. Second hitter, he goes deep into the Rangers bullpen. Then Jose Lobaton on a 3-2 pitch. Homers in the second inning, so that's 2 taters. Then how about the sweet swing of Adam LaRoche? I mean, is there a sweeter finish from the left side in baseball? A smoother swing than Adam LaRoche's? And then Scott Hairston, short arms one out to left, keeping it fair. Gets the big handshake from his skipper, Matt Williams. Helmet taken off by Ian Desmond.
Donnie Murphy at third base here for the Rangers. Beltre off his feet the rest of the day. And in the right field slot, Dan Robertson. Top of the 7th inning, taken care of by Stammen. In the bottom, it's Nate McLeod leading off. And Scott Baker out there for another inning of work. Drops a changeup that just misses away. Nate 0 for 3 today. He's hit it sharply a couple of times. Espinosa and Lobaton may be friends in here in the 7th. And Nate pulls it to the first baseman, Mitch Moreland.
The Peanuts are your summer home for the future stars of the Washington Nationals. There are plenty of promotions at Fitzner Stadium, including fireworks nights, bobbleheads each month, kids eat free Sundays, and Dollar Mondays. Go to peanuts.com or call 703-590-2311.
And they're bringing along this kid named Zimmerman, who we hear might be pretty good.
He's got a chance.
He's supposed to be in left field tonight, so if you want to double dip a little bit, check out the Peanuts tonight down in Woodbridge. Here's Espinosa. Danny 1 for 3 with a double off the left center wall.
10-2 game. I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to think of a sweeter swing from the left side than LaRoche. I'm not saying better swing or better hitter, just a more, I guess, aesthetically pleasing swing is the way to put it when he hits a home run. I mean, growing up, to me, it was Will Clark and his finish.
Yeah.
But LaRoche doesn't have the cape with the left hand like Clark had after the finish, but it's just so pretty to watch. Especially in Exmo. I mean, dirt flying is pretty to watch in Exmo, but watch this. It's just the finish and the leverage right there. And I'm sure there's some out there. I'm just having trouble thinking of it right now. I mean, everything he does is smooth, right? With the glove at first base on the picks, his swing.
Todd Helton had a great swing.
Good call.
But you're right, not that many lefties. And a 1-2 pitch away. Danny Espinosa just lets it go, and the count's even 2-2.
I think Edgar Martinez had the sweetest right-handed swing I've ever seen. But it's usually left-handers with, you know, the real pretty swings, I guess. Griffey's a good call.
Yep. Junior, right?
Yes. It's all good hitters, but I'm just talking about sweet swings where you just look at it and go, wow.
And a 2-2, and Espinosa slams one off the railing in front of the Nats dugout. Tony Tarasco shows his quick hands. Mark Wiedemeyer just gave him thumbs up from the dugout.
Somewhere Jeffrey Mayer like that too.
Scott Baker in his 5th inning of work for the Rangers. The ultimate mop-up sort of appearance when your ball club's down big. He was actually in the on-deck circle last inning when Odor made the last out.
Danny Espinosa giving him a fight too.
So he's thrown 15 pitches more than the Rangers starter did. Nick Tepesch, who really had a tough time through 2 innings. Two. Who is this contact man, Espinosa? Spoiling pitches. I like it.
Nice fighting, that's for sure. Pitch number 9 coming.
Bottom of the 7th. Nats on top by 8. They won last night by 7. And Espinosa foul tips, and this time it didn't stay in the mid of Chirinos.
You get in these fights as a hitter at the plate, and they go either way. If there's pitches in the sequence that you feel like you should have hit and you're fouling them off, it gets in your head. If a guy's throwing you nasty pitches and you're fouling them off, then your confidence builds as the at-bat goes. But if there's 4 or 5 in the sequence where you're thinking to myself, yeah, I should be standing on second base, that can rattle you.
Now he's worked the count full, 3-2. And a swing and a miss on a fastball. 2 outs. And for Baker, strikeout number 6. 1:35 first pitch tomorrow. Nats extra 12, actually 1 o'clock. And it'll be Yu Darvish. He's 33-20 career. And he's 4-2 this season. Tanner Roark is 3-3 with a 3.47 ERA. League only hitting .229 against him and .215 against Darvish. That'll be the series finale tomorrow. Looks like the Nats will be going for a sweep. Lobaton 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer, strike 1.
There's a horseshoe.
career record of 10-4. About to make his 16th career start. And of course, Tanner Roark, probably looking forward to tomorrow. Just staying on that rotation. Another day off Monday. Blake Trinan, kind of the guy who's being shuffled around a bit, but with all these days off, you only need 4 starters for the better part of a week and a half. Up and away, 1-2. Lobitone can't reach it. 1-2-3 for Baker. He's not going to lead off in the 8th, is he? We'll see. Nationals 10, the old Senators 2. University of Maryland, University College, Elijah Dukes, June 20th of 08. Leadoff homer, 8th inning to tie the game. In the bottom of the 14th, a walk-off hit to beat the Texas Rangers. Joel Hanrahan got the win in 14 innings. Guzman led off, then Dukes, lasting Millage in center, Dimitri Young at first, Jesus Flores catching, Corey Castro at third, Felipe Lopez at second, Willie Harrison left, and the starting pitcher was Tim Redding.
And there was no HDTV in 2008, it looked like.
Belliard, Paul Loduca were on the bench that night. Ryan Langerhans, Brett Boone, Will Nieves, Ryan Zimmerman must have been on the DL. Aaron Boone, pardon me.
One of the various Boones. They're everywhere.
Michael Choice is the pinch hitter in the number 9 spot for the Rangers here in the top of the 8th inning. And Stammen just kind of running one in on his hands. Michael Choice, 24-year-old outfielder from Fort Worth, lives in Arlington. 4 years in the minor leagues, originally drafted by Oakland. Rangers got him in a 4-player deal with the A's, and that is low and away. Reaching for that one, and Rendon over to cut it off. He's everywhere today.
Fans, you can follow every Nationals game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Visit Nationals.com today.
Top of the order now, Shin Soo Choo, the left fielder. Nats had kept him off base until his last time up when he doubled to left center.
Good run on that fastball at 92.
Nats bullpen coming into this game with the major league's best ERA at 2.21. It went down a click with Stam in a scoreless 7th. Steve McCatty's squad out there, magnificent this year.
Well, it's a bunch of pitchers down there versus throwers. You know, a lot of bullpens in the big leagues have guys that are 95 plus. Every guy they run out there is almost touching 100. But when you talk about the Nats bullpen, they don't really have any flamethrowers down there. I guess Blake Trinan, now that he's been inserted into the bullpen, 97. But Tyler Clippard's 92. There you are, Tyler. Raise your hand. Roll call. Drew Storm, 94, 95. Parade wave. I like it. Jerry Blevins, 90. But they know how to pitch. They know how to work guys, and they do their homework.
I just wish they'd relax and have a little fun out there.
Hey, when you're pitching as well as they are, life is fun. And you're in the big leagues.
2 outs by their buddy Craig Stammen here in the 8th with Elvis Andrus coming in.
Ross Detweiler was throwing 96 the other night. That was a good sign.
Look at those ERAs. 3 guys on the same team. Gonna have to add a line to that baseball essay. 3 guys on the same team with an ERA under 1 run a game. Baseball.
There's a video at Nats Park that pays tribute to baseball every day.
And we've made a few of our own additions here and there, haven't we?
We enjoy it every day. It's right before we go on the air. It's on the Jumbotron out there in right center field, and it's a tribute to baseball. And we like it.
1 ball, 1 strike to Andrews.
For the record.
Up the middle, Craig Stammen. He was going to knock it down, but it went right in his glove, so why bother? He retires 6 of the 7. And today, baseball is a big lead going into the bottom of the 8th. Ron Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. And by Buffalo Wild Wings. Give the gift everyone loves, a Buffalo Wild Wings gift card. The perfect gift for dads and grads. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, Rendon, sports.
Chuck that thing.
There's some torque on that right arm. We're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. That's a little deeper into the Ranger bullpen. Texas, a couple of defensive shifts, and we'll get you up to date on those in a moment. Call to the bullpen, packaged by the UPS Store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let them handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Sean Tollison, right-hander. Kevin Franzen, first at bat of the day, came in on a double switch back in the 7th. Goes up swinging, trying to dump one into right field. In to grab it, though, Daniel Robertson. So Sean Tollison for the Rangers, making his 21st appearance. 9 runs, 19 hits in 27 innings. Strikeout guy with 22 Ks, 9 walks.
Yeah, 4-pitch guy, fastball 91, slider 80. He'll cut the fastball in the low 90s, and he's got a changeup too.
And Denard Span will take one in there.
Denard Span, a tough luck 1 for 3 today. Walked his first time up, got a knock second time, but is lined out twice after that. Could easily have 3.
Well, swinging the bat really well, getting on base, keying this offense. There's another hot shot. Moreland knocks it down. Took him that third opportunity to find the handle. 2 outs.
Well, it's a 4 exclamation point day in my scorebook for Denard Span. Exclamation point meaning hit the ball hard. Staying with it. It just gets him at first.
Next up will be Anthony Rendon. 4 for 4. A homer, 3 singles, 3 runs.
Couple of great plays at third. Other than that, a horrible day.
I think Anthony had a couple of games earlier in the year where he had maybe 5 or 6 hits in a row. That one way out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike.
His average started at 255 today. It's at 269 right now.
Batting average at the start of the day, 255, sitting at 269 right now. And a 1-2 strikes him out. And Rendon will settle for 6 consecutive hits going back to last night. Looks like Jerry Blevins has the assignment to get this one over and out.
is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
And just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. We're going to go all the way back to the second inning and watch Anthony Rendon's amazing backhand play at third base. In between hop, bad hop, stays with it, gets up and throws an absolute bullet across the diamond to Adam LaRoche. Look at the play in Exmo, and there it is in fast motion. Look at the arm strength from Rendon, and I hope when the various shows tonight are ranking the various amazing plays around Major League Baseball, you take into account the degree of difficulty right there for Anthony Rendon's play in the second inning. Not easy.
So for the Rangers, ninth inning due up, Moreland, Murphy, Robertson. Brought to you by Honda. So Mitch Moreland went for 3 RBI single today in the series. He is 2 for 7. Donnie Murphy used to hit some big home runs against the Nats with Miami and Chicago. And then we'll get our first look at Dan Robertson as Jerry Blevins takes over here in the ninth.
Yeah, 26 appearance, 23 strikeouts, 9 walks. Lefty's hitting just 118 against the fastball cutter curve change combination from Jerry Blevins.
A lot of the Rangers have faced him. Moreland 0 for 5 career against the lefty. And a flare. Who's got it? Rendon. Espinosa could have caught it as well. Acrobatic for the first down.
Well, the best thing that happened there is they didn't crash. Little smile from Blevins. Yeah, when you're having the day Anthony Rendon's having, you catch everything. Little jam shot, ball's not carrying to left. Rendon, Espinosa, who's got it? Rendon.
And a ball to the outer edge, a little bit away. Ball 1 to Murphy. Donnie Murphy, 255 with 11 homers in 46 games for the Cubs last year. 215, 2 homers, 10 RBIs for Texas. And you were reminiscing about a homer he hit off Steven Strasburg last year at Wrigley Field. That was a tough one. Took Steven right out of a complete game win.
Yeah. I don't know if reminiscing is the right word.
Reminiscing, sadly. And a 1-1, swing and a miss. That's Byron and Ray here at the ballpark with Nats Extra in a moment. Congratulations to Johnny Holiday attending another graduation of a grandchild today.
Still want to use your line you said before you went on here, but I'm not. Yeah, we miss Johnny every time he's not here.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, the one where I said his grandchild was retiring. That's what
you said it. I wasn't going to say that.
Well, I mean, you kicked the door open like a crazy man there.
You
2 outs here in the ninth.
Grandchild's retirement party.
Sorry, John. We love Johnny Holiday. It's funny, Eric Nadel, and congratulations to Eric, the Rangers radio guy. He won the Ford Frick Award this year, given by the Baseball Hall of Fame. He said, the Johnny Holiday is your studio guy? Eric knows him from Johnny's great music reputation. So here's Blevins trying to close it out with a fastball at the knees on Dan Robertson. How about the Nats scoring 10 runs today and stranding only 4 base runners? Last night they scored 9 and stranded just 7.
And Blevin's gotten some momentum here, trying to close this thing out. Nats a pitch away from being back to 500. Rangers about to fall back to 500.
I said the other night going off the air there was 110 games left and step back from the ledge. Well, see what a difference a few days makes. That's what makes this game so great. It can change in a heartbeat.
(0-2) in the ninth. A good crowd of 35,000. 164 standing. That's a swing. The game's over, and the Nats have already won the series. Now they'll go for a sweep tomorrow.
Well, Doug Fister was awesome today. He was given a lead. He knew what to do with it as a veteran guy. And Anthony Rendon, the story of this game, with the glove, with the bat, he's back, folks, and he's swinging it better than he did in April.
The Nats win it going away 10-2, and they've outscored the Rangers in this series 19-4.